Hello, and thanks for joining us for episode 29 of Paranormal United States. This is New Hampshire.
Yep, New Hampshire this week, and we have a classic haunted house for this week. This is the James House, which is in Hampton, which is just outside Portsmouth in New Hampshire. And so this is the house. It doesn't look that grand. It looks quite run down. It has been built up since then, like sort of remade up a little bit better. But the James House is really old, older than most of the places that we talk about in this series. It was built in 1723.
Okay, wow, that is a lot older.
Old, very old, especially for America.
Yeah,
Really old. It's recognised as a true first period colonial building,
okay,
and it still has all of its original framing intact inside.
wow,
So a lot of it is the original house as it was pretty much 300 years ago,
amazing.
almost. So it's built by Benjamin James. He was a successful farmer, and he bought the land it's on in 1705. And the property stayed in the James family for a staggering 226 years.
That's
Like
amazing.
the next generation just kept handing it down for over 200 years. It was sold to the Campbell family in 1931 after the death of the then owner's son. So they had no heirs to pass it down to. It's like an older couple, and the husband had ill health. The only child died, so he had no one to pass it on to. They couldn't run the farm anymore. In 1931, and it became vacant in 1972, and it's been vacant ever since. It was acquired by the James House Association in 1994, and that was set up because the residents nearby, all the neighbours, were concerned because it was just falling into disrepair, and they didn't want to see such a unique and old building just be destroyed. So they set up this association, raised some money from like people and from businesses, and bought the property, built it up a little bit, and it's now like a museum. And they do educational trips, so you can book and go view it. They do ghost hunts and stuff there as well, because what I go into about the sort of ghost side of it.
It does look a bit weird.
Yeah, it's an odd building. It's like there's a classic building. It's one of the oldest examples, like still standing examples of this type of house where they have the chimney in the middle, and then they build around it. So and as you might expect from such an old building, there are lots of ghost stories from over the 300 years that it's been there. Skip Webb, he's the president of the James House Association. He's experienced himself the presence of a ghost on 3 different occasions, including one time when a guest ran out of the house during his tour. Just ran out of the house screaming because she saw an apparition in the building. She just freaked her out and she just ran off and didn't come back. In 2001, this is really weird, a hymnal fell from a hole in the ceiling. A hymnal is a book of hymns. Like when you go to church, you have to book for the hymns in. So basically, this book of hymns just fell.
Oh wow!
From the hole in the ceiling, just landed in front of him. So that's just a bit weird. Just like a religious item just fell from the sky, effectively. And neighbours, because it's on kind of a main road and the house opposite, and neighbours that live in these houses reported seeing just shadows and figures in the windows after just walking past or driving past.
Wow.
There's a local investigation group called Spirit Chasers Paranormal, and they've been investigating the house for quite a few years, and they've stayed there like overnight, stayed there for weeks at a time, just doing investigations. And they capture some good stuff of strange occurrences when they've been staying there. When they first went to it, they did like a daytime tour, just walking around, getting the feel for the building, taking loads of photos. And they capture lots of orbs in these photos, which could be dust, but they also say it could be a spirit that's trying to manifest into a visible state.
Yeah.
Obviously, lots of opinions and theories around orbs. We'll leave that there. And on one of the nights that they were there, they heard basically what sounded like a ball bouncing down the stairs into the ground floor.
Okay.
And so they actually went to have a look, and there's no ball. There's nothing around that could have explained. Just sounded like a football or just a round ball just bouncing down the stairs, but never found out what caused it.
That'd be weird.
That's weird. Bouncing down to the ground floor, which should be the first floor in
America, yeah.
America. That same night, there's a loud bang heard against an outside wall. He quickly ran outside, and there's no one there, and nothing to account for the banging noise. And he's got quite a bit of land attached to it, and like you'd be able to see someone running away or hiding.
Yeah.
But they got outside pretty quick, and there was no one about. A week later, they were staying there again. There was another loud bang, but this time on a different wall. As well as a noise, it sounded like somebody sawing in the house.
Okay.
So, like when you think of a saw just sawing through wood, that was the noise that they could hear inside the house. But obviously nobody was sawing in the house in the middle of the night. And again, they couldn't find like the proper source of it or where exactly the noise was coming from. It's just this noise that they could hear coming from somewhere in the house. Same paranormal group stayed overnight on Halloween, of course, where they captured an EVP of a woman laughing.
Oh.
So it sounded like a woman's chuckling. They could hear when they played it back.
Awesome.
But there's no one on the team. You only have like a small team with him. It's none of them. And they also heard a loud door slam, taps on the walls, and just other weird sounds just happening throughout the night.
That's awesome.
Like I say, the James House Association, they host regular investigations that you can attend. And at Halloween, they host a special event where they have seances, outdoor ghost tour, indoor ghost hunt inside the house that anyone can just go to.
Amazing.
There's another haunted house in Hampton. So this is one of them.
Yeah.
The other one I'm going to talk about is the Marston House.
Okay.
Or rather, a number of houses owned by the Marston family, like the extended family owned these houses. This is said to be haunted by the ghost of 11-year-old Valentine Marston. He was named Valentine because he was born on the 14th of February.
Okay.
Of Valentine's Day. In 1890, he got a hold of his father's gun, messing around with it outside, and accidentally shot himself. And he later died tragically from the wounds and also from lead poisoning from the lead bullets that were in the gun. Now, many sightings of a young boy were reported in the 1950s and 60s. And this boy was seen at different houses that were owned or previously owned by the extended members of the Marston family.
Okay.
Apparently, Valentine is a white ghost, which means it's a good ghost. And those that who see him experience something good happen in their lives after they've seen him. And one of the stories comes from a family. They lived in a house that's formerly owned by one of the Marstons on Tide Mill Road. They're trying to sell the house for quite a while, not getting any interest. A couple of viewers, but no one's really interested. One day, the lady owner who was living there, she's just outside hanging the washing up. She went down to get a peg out of the basket and she felt a hand like hold hers. So she looked down and saw a young boy in a sailor suit and hat, just staring, just smiling at her. So she's like, what's happening? Next minute, he just disappeared, just smiled at her and vanished. So she spoke to people in the area to find out, like, I don't know what just happened to me.
Yeah.
And she was shown a photo by a local teacher and historian, showing a photo of Valentine, but took when he was obviously alive. And she confirmed that that was the boy that she saw holding her hand in the garden. Less than 48 hours later, the house sold.
Right.
So that bit of good luck after seeing Valentine.
So not all goes to bad.
Yeah, it's a nice friendly ghost that brings you good luck. He's always like, when he reports people see him, he's always like smiling, like a happy ghost.
Okay. That's good, though.
And interacts as well, which like some just like say they're sort of getting on with their lives, but he like does interact and smiles at people and stuff, and he's wearing his sailor suit. So yeah, pretty interesting.
I like that.
Yeah, so that was Paranormal United States, New Hampshire.